All right, family, let's jump right into it. Dear Dr. Dandridge, I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but I've been carrying this weight for a while now. My daughter and I used to be so close, more like best friends than mother and child. But everything changed after she had a blood transfusion a few years ago. She survived her serious illness, and I was so grateful for her healing. But since then, it's like I don't even recognize her. She's more distant, argumentative, and cold towards me. The smallest conversations turn into conflict. I've tried giving her space. I've tried prayer, counseling, and gentle talks, but the warmth we once had feels gone. I know she's alive, and I thank God for that every day, but I can't help feeling like I lost her in another way. How do I grieve a relationship that still exists but no longer feels alive? Wow. This is a first for me. Um, when I read your letter, I actually know quite a few people who have had blood transfusions who also say that they feel different, that they felt different after getting the blood transfusion. Um, some people have told me that it feels as though that they got quote unquote bad blood. There are religions that shy away from blood transfusions because they do believe that when you do have someone else's blood inside of you, that there is also a spiritual change or connection. We're not going to delve into that, but I do hear that there was something that happened. I hear that there was some medical emergency or some medical condition that sparked the necessity of a blood transfusion. What I'm also hearing is that the blood transfusion is what you believe has caused your daughter to change in a way that is not what it was before. I'm going to answer this question in two ways. Number one, medical conditions and emergencies change everyone. The person who has went through the medical condition or the medical emergency, then also those inside of the environment around them. You did not share what the medical emergency was, but I'm sure that there was a level of trauma for her as a patient, but then also for you as a mother. With that trauma, there comes responses. There are psychological responses, there are physical responses, there are things that will be different following whatever occurred years ago. What's interesting that I've seen over the years is that a lot of people don't properly grieve the medical condition or the trauma they experienced. And that's what causes some of the behavioral and the relationship changes inside of the future. Let me give you an example. I'm just going to throw this out here because, again, you did not share what was the medical condition. But a person who went into liver failure now has to have a blood transfusion and was on life support or an ICU for a couple of weeks. During that time, so much stuff happened. During that time, there were so many emotions that happened. And during that time, because of what happened, certain things were lost. Distance as far as relationship, um, financially, because now you have a medical bill, interactions with people. You cannot interact with other individuals the same because of this medical condition. What I'm leaning towards is I want the both of you, or I would encourage you, the both of you and your daughter, to go back to that moment and intentionally grieve what happened. Outside of the blood transfusion, whatever sparked the blood transfusion, grieve that. Grieve the sickness, grieve the illness, because probably, and you can write back in and correct me if I'm wrong, there is still some complications. There are still some physical complications. I mean, whenever we go through something that serious that requires a blood transfusion, our bodies are never the same. That's just medically speaking. So there is still some grief associated with that. And to be honest, she might be experiencing a level of grief associated with what she lost after going through that serious illness. And you might be experiencing grief as a mother because there might have been things that you could have done or not could have done inside of that season that you ultimately lost as well. So that's the first thing. I would encourage you all to go back to that moment right before that blood transfusion took place, right before the illness took place, and grieve the illness. Grieve the physical changes in the body that occurred that caused the necessity of the blood transfusion. Okay. Now, moving forward, because it sounds like you desire that you want that relationship back with your daughter, number one, I don't think it will take place until after you've properly grieved what I just told you to grieve. Number two, like I write inside of Designing Your Goodbyes, you have to be intentional about what the days moving forward are going to look like. After you've properly grieved what happened physically with regards to the illness, with regards to the medical condition, now you can begin to intentionally say, okay, now that we know, now that we acknowledge, now that we have accepted and grieved properly what happened, this is how things can look inside of the future. It takes a toll, like I said, on a person physically, mentally, spiritually. Illness takes a toll. And there might be things inside of your relationship now that should be more intentional and may have to change, because if they don't, it could trigger other things that can only resurface whatever sparked the medical condition or the serious illness that occurred years ago. I hope that that makes sense. I definitely will be keeping you and your daughter in prayer. I hope that if it is well intended, that your relationship can be rekindled and rejoined. But I think at the crux of it, we have to go back and grieve what happened before the blood transfusion. And then we can properly grieve what's happening now post the blood transfusion. Okay. I would love for you to write back in, or even if someone else is watching and you've experienced this too, let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. Okay. And if you've experienced or had someone to experience a serious illness, and then it might not have been a blood transfusion, but they might have been in ICU, or they might have been just any kind of serious illness, and then afterwards things did not look differently. I want to hear your story too. I want to see and maybe create a community where other individuals just like you have experienced some level of serious illness, and then relationships changed after that serious illness. I think that it's more common than we see. All right. So again, I hope and pray that this was some good advice for you. I pray for the relationship between you and your daughter. Thank you for joining me at my desk. This is Dr. Dandridge. This has been Designing Your Goodbyes, and I'll see you all inside of the next episode. Okay.